everybody, it's your pal Ron Howard from xTreme Sequences with a special guest hanging out in the background there. It's not going to say much, but at least he's fun to look at. Mr. Jason Gilbert from xTreme Sequences. I meant xTreme Engineering. Gilbert Sequence. Yes. Holiday Supply Shop. Yes, that's it. Gilbert Engineering. Mr. Jason Gilbert is in the house. He and Miss Chris have been hanging out this Memorial Day weekend. You'd think we'd be doing nothing but having fun, but we've actually been working on secret projects and new prop designs and all sorts of things. And also discovering how far can you throw an iPhone before it stops working? Well, we're still working on that one, but I've got some encouraging news that I think we've perfected it. So we'll be going to Best Buy or the Verizon store later today to replace an item that might have fallen out of some trousers. Anyway, let's get into this. A couple things I want to let you know right off the bat. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet, and I'm going to give you a tidbit of information on a custom model that I recently learned. As I said before, there are a lot of times things slip by that are enhancements, next lights, and you just don't see it. And I don't work on models as much as I used to. You know, I was sort of like the guy that was always doing a lot of the Gilbert Engineering models, and now we have other people that work on those to free up our time. And I was doing some training with European lighting fanatics this last Thursday. And after the training, this one guy goes, "Hey, you know, I think there's an easier way to do that." And I'm like, oh, here we go again. Brits just know everything, don't they? But actually he did. And it was really good to see that there was a better way to number something on a custom model. And I thought, well, that's just brilliant. And why didn't I know that? I know why I didn't know that, because I'm human and I can't know everything. I just know most everything, but not everything. So let's get into this. Quick couple of announcements. Hit the like button because you love me, and subscribe to the channel. It helps the algorithms, and I'm almost at the point where I can add shots to my coffee. That is amazing, and thank you so much for being here. The other thing is Christmas Expo's coming up in July. I'm going to be teaching a 3-day class there and a 1-day class for sequencing, and I'm about to take off with my family. So this is going to be the last Monday minutes until July, because we're going, well, let's just say we're going on an epic journey. So we're going to be gone a while, and it's a much needed, overdue bucket list item that I'm very happy to be taking the family on. So feel free to watch some of my older videos over and over and over. Right, Jason?
Oh yeah, I watch them all the time.
Yeah, he watches them all the time. All right, on a big screen. He can't watch them on his iPhone right now, but we'll fix that later today. All right, let's get into this. I want to show you this kind of cool feature that I didn't know about until recently. So we're going to bring in a custom model. We're going to design, I should say, a custom model. And you do that with this funky looking little icon right here that looks like a frog melded with some type of, I don't know, mega tree. I don't know. We've got to change these icons. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to drag a box. Fair enough. Now, nothing really happens. And I'm just going to go ahead and give this a name. I'm going to call this Scrollette. Yeah, for lack of better term. There we go. And then what we want to do is save old name. No, stop asking me that. We're going to click on this little button here, this ellipse. ... is an ellipse in French. And we click on this, and it brings up this window that I'm sure many of you have seen. Now, I don't know how many of you create your own custom models, but there's a lot of people that do make their own props, their own models. Sorry, Jason. But there are a lot of people who go out there and cut their own stuff, and that's great. Or there are people that will create really cool designs and reach out to the Coro vendors and going, "Hey, you ever seen this before?" And they go, "Yeah, circle. Yeah, love them." But, you know, every now and then you might come up with something really cool that you design and say, "Hey, man, I would love to see this in coral with some holes in it." So let's get into this. The first thing you have to decide is what width and height. Now, I know X-Lights will bark if you put the numbers too big. Too many rows left and right and up and down, and X-Lights will barf all over itself going, "It's going to slow your render down," unless you got a Mac. I'm going to show you how to combat that. If you do not put enough resolution for your width and height, it's going to be really tough to make round objects are going to be tough to make diagonals. So I'm going to start this at 100. You haven't even seen what we're going to make yet, but I just know 100 might work okay. Okay. You know what? Let's not do that. Let's set this to 50. Let's show you the proof is in the pudding. Now, xLights allows us to browse to an image for our background image that we're going to use to trace. So I'm going to click on browse. I'm right here. There's scroll it. This is just an image I got from the interweb. And look at that. It brings it in. I suggest double clicking in this little gray area up here so we can see the whole thing and scooting this bar down. Okay. We can always hit the minus sign. There we go. We see everything. Now, how well do you think this is going to do making diagonals? What do you think, Jason?
Pretty well.
Not too well at all, he said. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to 100. I'm going to double the resolution of the cells. And 100, and then you just click in the other field. Boom, done. And that looks good. And maybe I'll bring the size down just a little bit so we can see everything. I don't want to go too far. There we go. That looks good. And what I'm looking for here is the best chance to get straight lines. xLights also allows us to scale the transparency of this image back. So, well, here's the deal. I don't know why this keeps doing this, but really this should just be the image scaling back. But on the Mac, it seems to sort of just screen everything back. And yeah, I don't really like that, but that's okay. I'm going to see what this does for us. So in the past, I would click on active and I would click on auto increment. That's if these are going to be pixels. If this was an AC prop, then you wouldn't hit auto increment. You would just use a number like 1 if that's the outline. If you had a different color for the inner spokes or something, then you could choose another number for that. Okay, but we're going to leave this in the pixel world. And if I start clicking a number up here, I can begin tracing this. So I can click on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just keep going. Now this is going to be a fairly detailed model the way it's looking right now. Now you have to make a choice. Which one of these we're going to do? Okay. Okay, and you can see it just looks jagged. So this needs some serious cleanup, right? Maybe, and I'm going to show you this really cool trick. I'm going to turn off my activate, and I'm going to select all of these. And I can right click clear cells. Now, clear cells is something that hasn't been there forever, but it is now. And that's kind of nice, because what we used to do, believe it or not, we used to just go over there, highlight those, and click the scissors for cut. So we would temporarily put it into copy or cut mode to put it in memory, but then we'd never bring it back in. So let's work on something a little more simple. Let's just go straight down this. And so I'll turn my active back on. I'll set this back to 1. What I think is kind of cool and different, if I don't click auto increment and I just click, 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 I don't think this is going to do what I want it to do. No, it's not. And there, by the way, there's no edit undo. So I'm going to deselect active. I'm going to right click, clear cells. Okay. And what I want to do now is I want to highlight. See how that's highlighting that? I'm just going to drag this straight down. And I can right click and I can tell this to do number selected top to bottom, and watch what it does. Oh, did you get goosebumps?
Boom.
Did you feel chills?
I felt it.
Did you feel it? I felt it too. So this is pretty cool. So if this is where I was starting, but then I wanted to continue to take this. Now you have to hold down the shift key. You have to click here, here. And what I like about this, oh, well, hold on. That's not doing what I want it to do. I'm doing shift. I need to do command. I could be absolutely wrong. Okay, that's doing it now. No, that's not going to work. Look how it's highlighting all those cells. Does this only work going up and down? That's going to be a problem. I don't like that. But I'm pretty sure I should be able to use the command key and select all of these. Oh yeah, it's doing it. It's just really hard to see. Okay, so this is going to be a rough idea, but what we can do is select all these cells, even though they're not perfect. And I can tell this again, right click, number selected, horizontal left to right, and it continues where it left off. Here's why I think this is important. When you have a fairly complex prop with a lot of pixels, it is very common to make a mistake and you go back and you start to renumber it and then the number's wrong. What I like about this can be maybe more accurate, selecting the cells first, then right click and tell it to continue the number. You'll always start with the right number where you left off. I think it's pretty cool. I never used this before. And again, I'm going to ask you, when was this put in xLights? And again, I haven't used the wiring probably in a long time for any project. We have other people doing that kind of stuff now, so I can focus on other things. But I do super appreciate the ability to do this. I think it's really cool. And you don't even have to activate it or use auto increment. And now if I want to start and do it manually from here, I certainly can. I just want to make sure I put in the correct number, 40, and then I could continue on making the rest of the prop. Okay, there we go. Now I'm just going to be real crude with this and just put some random numbers because, I mean, we don't have all day to be here. I've still got some packing to do. Got to work with Jason. We've been working on moving heads. We have moving heads working with sequences in the garage. That's British for garage. Okay. Or I should say that's English for garage if you're in the UK. And you would say garage if you're in the USA. Just so you know. All right. And there you go. So let's say you spent the proper amount of time to make this look wonderful. When you're done, you want to make sure you deselect these so you don't click them anymore. Some things you could do. If your model looks amazing and it's got all the detail, I'm just going to click OK and save. There it is. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, Jason, remember the early days? That's what the models look like right there. Woo.
Some still do.
Some still do. All right. What I'm going to do, some things you should do with models is right click in the background. I'm going to zoom out of this. Right click, you should always do this, is you want to trim unused space. There we go. Space has been trimmed. The other thing you can do is right click, shrink space, and my suggestion is 50% if you started at a decent number. We go 50%. That's done. It doesn't really look different to me. Well, it's still working on it. But I'm going to give you a word of caution here. Make sure your model is done. You don't have to rewire anything. You don't have to trace anymore because it's going to make it look different with the background on here. I would love to see xLights be able to sort of scale the background image with the shrinkage, but I said shrinkage, but that's not going to work. Okay, so we click OK. And what you're going to find out is the model's going to look still pretty good. Let me give you another example. Let me bring down something from the World Wide Web, and we'll bring something in from Gilbert Engineering, and I'm just going to bring in a Rosa Grande. There we go. And Arch. Now you have to hit search again because I got several versions of this. There's Arch. Get past the arches until we get to the Rosa Grande. Insert the model. No, I don't care about the aliases. And let's take a look at this. Let's go in here. So if you're happy with this resolution, great. But we can go in here. If you're on a slower computer and you think the size of your models are slowing things down, which I don't really know that they would, but let's face it, every little bit counts, right? So what we could do here is, this is at 534 by 534. I promise you, xLights is going to bark over these numbers. It's going to throw a fit and cry and need a box of tissues because the width and height it feels is just too much. Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do, right click, I'm going to shrink space by 50%. It's done. Click OK. I'm going to go over here. You know what? That model still looks really good to me. And it's not going to make a bit of difference in your show. The resolution of your model has no impact on your show. It's a visual representation. But if you start with the dimensions or resolution when you're making a model too small, it doesn't look good. So don't be surprised when you download models from xLights Heaven that they may seem excessive. Just know that you have the power to right click on the model data in the little grid and change it 50% or more. I would say 50% is fair. It's cutting it in half. And then you'll be rocking. All right. That's all I've got. Jason, you got anything else?
Huh?
Perfect. Hey, I'm Ron. It's been Monday Minutes. We'll catch you in July. All right. Bye. That's my best one yet, Jason.